The Realme X50 will be official in just a couple of days, so here it is, absolutely everything we know about the device right before the launch, and without a doubt, this is a Redmi K30 5G competitor. We've known for a while now that the Realme X50 will use the brand new Snapdragon 765G processor. That's the new mid-range chipset with 5G integration from Qualcomm. They'll also be using LPDDR4X RAM in this one too. We don't know much about the processor. It's only really come to market in the Oppo Reno 3 Pro version, but it will be coming to more phones as time goes on. From benchmarks, we know that it is a very powerful chipset, of course, to be eclipsed by the Snapdragon 865 when that comes in a few weeks' time. It will feature a 6.57-inch LCD display. Yes, it is an LCD. A lot of people may be wondering why Realme have gone back to LCD, considering they put mostly OLED screens in their upper tier devices. There are a couple of reasons for it. First, obviously, is to keep the price down a little bit compared to OLED. But the second reason is that everything out of China is pointing towards this using a 120 Hz refresh rate display. 120 Hz plus OLED equals very expensive, way too expensive for a device like this. So they've gone for an LCD display with that high refresh rate. If that sort of spec sounds familiar to you, then yes, it is virtually the same as what we get in the Redmi K30 phones. Another similar aspect is that it will be using a 20:9 aspect ratio. Again, what we see in the K30 phones, and a dual cutout at the front. What is different though is that the dual cutout is placed on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side as we find in the K30. But also that front camera actually houses a 16 megapixel front selfie camera and a secondary 8 megapixel camera, which should be an ultra wide camera. That is different to the Redmi K30 because that uses a depth sensor as its secondary camera to get those portrait shots. The battery is coming in at around about 4,100 or 4,200 milliamp hours. So yes, that is beaten slightly by the Redmi K30's 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Realme have also told us that it will feature SuperVOOC 4.0, which is around about 30 watt fast charging. You can charge from 0 to 70% in 30 minutes. Realme have also said that the design in the X50 is a new type of design, different from what they've been using before in their previous phones. It's very hard to tell from the renders, but it does look like it features a slightly different design on the sides and the back, meaning they're moving further away from just using a very similar design as what you see Oppo phones using that Oppo production line. The camera setup looks really good on the Realme X50. You have a 64 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel 2x zoom camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor too. I think Realme will make quite a lot out of the camera because on paper at least it definitely gives you more than what you find in the Redmi K30. The K30 uses a main and ultra wide and then a depth and a macro sensor. Macro sensor, not many people use that often. Whereas on the Realme, it looks like they're going to use an actual 2x zoom camera, which is something that Redmi actually took away from the K20 series into the K30 phones. And in terms of the price, it will obviously come very similar to what we see the Redmi K30 phones. The Redmi K30 starting at 2,000 RMB here in China, going up to about 2,800 depending on the RAM and storage options. So I would expect the Realme phones to come in around about the same price as what we see in the Redmi phones. The release date is the 7th of January in China at least. Funnily enough, the sales date of the Redmi K30 is also the 7th of January. I will be unboxing the Realme X50 and comparing it to the Redmi K30 5G, so subscribe if you want to see all of those videos. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and tech videos. Check out my Twitter for more too. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.